Today I'm developing a roll of Kodak TMax 400 push 2 stops into an exhausted CineStill Df96 Developer. So last week I was away for the weekend and I decided to shoot some black and white film that I had home, hence my Kodak TMax. I knew I was going to shoot a lot of indoors, and I knew I was going to shoot a lot of street photography, and in order to make sure I was not going to need a tripod, I decided to push it 2 stops. So it was going to give me a 1600 ISO. Then I decided to research and look online on the best ways to develop my Kodak TMax push 2 stops into some CineStill Df96, because that's what I own. And to my great surprise, I realized there was not so much documentation or videos on the subject. I was seeing a lot of comments saying the best way to do this is with Ilford Microfan. It seems to be the best developer for pushed films, and Xtol from Kodak also. But as I was doing my research, I came across Eduardo Paves, and he talked about developing, and he made a reference to cooking. It's like a recipe that you know the recipe, but you can adjust depending on what you have. So you know what, Eduardo, you inspired me, and anyone who's watching this, I suggest you go see his channel. It's all about film mostly. So on top of having a pushed film, I have a few more challenges. My CineStill Df96 is exhausted by 3 months. On the website, they say it's good, shelf life is good for 2 months. And now I'm up to 5 months since I mixed it the first time. But I only developed 5 rolls out of the 16 they suggest. So I think I'm gonna be good. And as per the instructions, if you increase temperature, you increase development. But as you increase agitation, you also decrease development because it's a monobath developer. And as you increase agitation, you increase fixing. And wait, TMax specifically is what they call a tabular grain film with color dye technology. So I don't know, I haven't researched it, I don't know what it means, but that means I need to develop twice the amount of time for it to really clear. So that brings me to 12 minutes. If I really want to do this, that brings me to 12 minutes. I will take some precautions. The first one is I'm going to do a daylight snip test. And then I decided to go with the minimal agitation method. So I keep my development going as I just agitate a little bit. But in order to do that and keep the temperature constant for 12 minutes, I decided to gift myself of a sous vide. It's something that I wanted to buy for a long time, but now I decided to make the jump for the challenge. So let's do this. Well, if you made it to that point in the video, I suspect you really want to know if it worked out or not. And I'm glad to say it did. I probably wouldn't have posted this video anyways if it didn't work. But yes, it did. And I'm going to show you about 18 photos that I took over the weekend. But essentially, kudos to CineStill for making this monobath so easy to use. Because honestly, it's if I compare to regular TMax 400 pictures, not pushed, and what result I got, it's pretty impressive. I barely see grain when I zoom in. So kudos to CineStill. So this picture right here is a picture that I took, the first one actually that I took. And as you can see, it's still very flat in the sense there's not a lot of contrast, which is, after doing some research, is known TMax is known for. There's not a lot of contrast compared to HP5, for example. And this is after playing a bit in post, playing a bit with the picture in post, but as you can see, like it's totally acceptable. This picture also is a picture that I took at night, handheld, and I managed to get some decent picture inside a restaurant in Montreal. This is a typical lamppost picture that you're going to see on Instagram soon. Another night photography picture. As you can see on the side there, you'll see marks, but I don't use wetting agent, so it has nothing to do with the actual developer or the process that I use. It's just me. I didn't squeegee enough or well enough the negative. So I really like this picture. Very contrasty. Yeah. So a few more pictures here of the city at night. And this one is in the old port. I was looking out to the old port waters, and you see the reflection of the lights on the water. I love this picture. This is next day. It was during the day. It was a rainy day, and I was lucky enough to have a rainy day using this TMax, because it made for a great negative roll to use on a rainy day. I could definitely increase my aperture to f8, f11, and still manage to keep it in the 1/25th of a second. Another picture. So these are all pictures of the city during that rainy day. So in conclusion, I really loved using TMax pushed to 1600, yet I still prefer HP5 for the contrasty look, and I like the grain of the HP5 versus the TMax, which has no grain. You could almost think this was taken with the digital and some filter applied to it. So in conclusion, you know what, Eduardo Paves, you were right. You can definitely try it, push your limits, be creative, even if sometimes the best is some other developer solution. Try what you have, push your limits. So I hope you like this review and this video, and I hope to see you soon.